Hello, everybody, and welcome. As you may notice, if you are tuning in, our dear friend RJustice is currently late, but he has given us his blessing to start without him, and instead he is just hanging out in our chat. But I don't know where he's at.
We needed his blessing.
We did, and so he will be joining us shortly. So for all you AudioCast listeners, Hubris is not here as of yet. But before we start, I wanted to do some announcements. The first announcement being on Saturday, you can find everybody here in this game at various states and stages throughout all of our tabletop RPG extravaganza this Saturday, where we are going to be playing role-playing games from midnight to midnight. And I am very excited and very scared about it, but it's going to be a good time. We are going to be donating money for people who come by and end up following the channel, because We understand, hey, if you want to support Extra Life but you don't have as much money, you can help us out. We can help you out in your situation. Costs you nothing, and then you still help kids. It's a good time. We are also going to be... I just had a real bad mind poot. So that is it. Extra Life, it's going to be sweet. Oh, we're also having a giveaway. That was the other thing that my brain forgot about. But if you like stuff and you like D&D awesome things, we are having a giveaway to celebrate over 1,000 listens from the audiocast. So all you audiocast people, thank you, and please let us know why you've stuck around. I'm really curious and I want to know, so that way I can keep making you guys happy. It's actually just Barry pressing play as many times as he possibly can. He's cheating the system and getting me to give you guys stuff. But you might be wondering, what are some of the things that you can win? You can win your own copy of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is going to be super cool, and that will include the Waterdeep Dragon Heist dice set that's going to be coming out later this month, as well as a life tracker, which originally the life tracker seemed kind of weird, but since we're only going to level 5 in this adventure, it kind of makes sense that you wouldn't be having like 100 HP at that time. The other thing that you can win is the collector's edition of Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I already have one, and I love it, and I love the cover art for this, so I managed to pick up another one for all of you wonderful folk. So I will be posting a link in the chat below for that giveaway. So if you are interested, you should definitely check it out. Recommend it to a friend. It would be awesome, and your friends can win free stuff.
When does that giveaway end, Indoor?
That giveaway is going to end on the 26th, in 2 weeks. Of November. So the last day in this month, the last Monday, you will win something. Not the actual day, because November is not February. That's fine.
And what day are we doing Extra Life?
We are doing Extra Life this Saturday. That is
10th?
Yes, the 10th. I am, you know what? It's
just,
been,
making sure people know who are listening.
Yes. All of you audiocast listeners.
6 years from now, someone will be watching this and being like, I'm going to win some. Oh, no.
No. Yeah, so our giveaway ends on the 26th, and our super awesome Extra Life extravaganza is going to be happening this Saturday, November 10th. So come by on Saturday. It is going to be a delightful experience, I am sure.
And it's midnight to midnight.
Yes. Pacific Standard Time.
And for the giveaway, is it shipped worldwide?
I thought about it, and I don't know if I can afford to ship it worldwide. And that's really the problem. But if you don't live in the United States and you win, we will figure something out. Like how I have ordered things through Australian Amazon for Barry, because that was way cheaper than sending you something via the mail. So if that is the case, we'll figure it out. We'll work through this together, all of us. But I have rambled now for quite some time. And I feel like I'm just putting off the inevitable. So we are going to get right back into it. But it would be unfair of us and unjust to begin our Hubris, Kronk, and Ghost encounter in the rain without Hubris. So, Wolf, you are...
Starting a riot.
just right now, immediately?
No.
So... You have been in the prison of Waterdeep now, within the Hall of Justice, for about 3 hours, and you haven't really seen much more guard presence. It's getting kind of later in the day, and they seem to have escorted fake Hubris out after your friends had left. And you are just left in this hallway, where you can see kind of across the way from you, there is a one-handed dwarf that looks like he has what looks to be a wooden cover over his stump that has a small hole in the top part of the actual prosthetic itself. And then you would have seen, or actually you wouldn't have seen coming in, but across the way from you, just sharing a wall, is a purple tiefling. And as you're just kind of taking in this prison scene, you actually see a set of hands come out in the long hall, and they are from the cage next to you, that you would know has a set of purple hands coming from it, and they begin to sign using their hands to kind of create a language that you would know to be thieves' cant. And you read this thieves' cant, and it says, "What are you in here for?"
I guess I'll sign back. Broke a smart woodworking guild member's nose. We're pulling out a sign with my face on it. And then my so-called best friend decided to draw his gun on me. And then a griffin stabbed me. Ta-da! Don't know how I do ta-da with jazz hands.
Yeah, you'll do the jazz hands, and you'll kind of just hear a light chuckle from the other cell, and then the hands just kind of recede back into their cage, and you don't see another set come out or anything like that. And now it is getting to be it's gotten to be around 11 o'clock at night for you. The rain is coming down outside very heavily. You can hear lightning, and you can see lightning kind of streaking off in the distance, and you can hear thunder rolling. But you aren't really paying much attention to anything else outside. And the guards do eventually. They have come by earlier in the evening, and they've brought you just a very minimalistic meal. It seems like a grayish, discolored kind of slop in a wooden bowl with just a stale piece of bread that was kind of just jammed into it.
I don't remember ordering this. I'm pretty certain I ordered the roast chicken when I came in. I checked I'll be having that, so playing my chicken. Please.
They will.
You stabbed me.
You'll hear the guard say, "Of course, Your Highness," and he just takes the bowl and walks off.
Okay. Well, that was easy. I don't see what prison's so bad. I mean, my chicken.
And you just hear from the cells around you just laughter.
Oh, you shouldn't laugh at me because I'm going to rule this place within a day.
Do you say that out loud?
Yep.
All right. And at that, you'll just hear a very sharp laugh, just coming from the cell next to you, as you see a set of purple fingers go around the bars. Just as, a day? You're gonna rule this in a day, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sound like it's not possible.
Look, you're new. I understand that. But that's not how that works here. There's no king.
Half a day?
You know what? Sure, you could try. And he, you see the hands kind of shink up closer against the bars till you know that this person's right up against the wall next to you. He says, "What are you gonna do? Stab the biggest guy in here?"
Yeah.
Well, if you need help, I can give you some introductions.
Who's the biggest guy? The dwarf over there doesn't look very handy.
Oh, Nazca. Nazca's fine. He's fine. And you just see this dwarf raise up his prosthetic, and then he lowers it and then gives you the bird Like this is a fresh thing that he is kind of having to go through. And just, fuck you! He just shouts at you from from across the way. This individual says, well, he's a half-orc named Kenyu. So, he's a little big. By a little big, I mean a lot of big. So, if you attack him, you're either foolhardy or really stupid. But if you're in here with us, I'm guessing that it's either a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, or very much both.
Column C, unlucky.
Ah, I see.
I warned the guy.
Hey, Nazca. What? Are you lucky? Fuck off. I think we're all a little bit lucky if we're in here. Could be out there. Could be getting drenched on. And at least when you're in here, you got the protection of the guards. Which is at least something.
Where is my chicken anyway?
You realize that's not coming, right? I guess I was spot on with the foolhardy aspect. And the stupid aspect.
Dude, that's just rude. Okay.
Look, I didn't get to be in here by not being rude.
Fair enough. Well, I got in here by not being rude.
You said you punched a guy in the face because he showed you a
I
picture
warned
he
him.
had of you.
Okay. I warned him. He was being a smart ass. He deserved it.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did, buddy. And he just kind of pats the bars to make a ringing sound, and then you hear him walking back deeper into his cell. And Nazca, like, comes up to the bars and then looks over at you. And then he brings his prosthetic up to his hand, and it's very much labored on his end, but he is doing thieves' cant at you. And he says,
I'm getting half the words.
He's trying very hard. Thankfully, thieves' cant is a very flexible language, but he's more going based off of letters at this point rather than being able to emote a full action or thought in a single swift phrase. And so he's able to sign over to you. I hate Kenyu. Would be willing to help in return for a favor.
Depends on the favor. Because last time I said I'd do anything to someone, I kind of got fucked over.
I'll let you know what the favor is when I think of it, is what he signs back.
Nothing sexual.
He just furrows his brows at you and his arms just go straight to his side. And then he signs back just 9 hells. Like, just shakes his head. And you see him say tomorrow. And then he'll go and he'll sit back. He'll sit back on the bench. And that's how
Is his right or left hand missing?
His right hand is missing.
Okay, so I must remember to extend my left hand for a handshake.
Yeah. So your night goes by uneventfully. Thankfully you ate before. You had a very large breakfast, so your lack of dinner was able to actually kind of be pushed through. But you are feeling rather hungry at this point, as the guards did not bring you back a second meal, especially after, and not even during the time where they had cleaned up all of the other wooden bowls from the other prisoners. But your second day ends up leading into a relatively easy morning. And you find yourself being escorted next to this purple tiefling, this handless dwarf, and as well as a few other prisoners. And you can see that there's a human and a half elf, and they're just sort of they just sort of seem to be at odds at each other, but just very quick and very snide comments back and forth, to the point where the guards actually just tell them to shut it. Just very quickly, very effectively, just they're tired of these two arguing, because it is just mind-numbing. They aren't arguing about anything.
You annoyed the parents.
And then the guard next to you will just tell you to silence yourself as well. And they lead you guys into a cart. And in this cart, you are just being marched by these in a caravan by these guards through the streets of Waterdeep, and they take you probably about 30-45 minutes on a cart ride until they end up getting out near what looks to be a large rock quarry, and then they will pull the carts around. And they will open it up and have you guys actually go out and begin your day's work, your day's manual labor. And some of you they end up giving picks to, but for people like you, people like this purple tiefling, and more of these newcomers, they do not give you any items, but instead bring an overseer with you. That will instruct you to pick up rocks and set them and just take them from one place to the other. And Nazca just looks at them like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? I don't have two hands. And they end up putting a leather harness onto his front that he is able to actually sync up as kind of like a burlap or like a leathered harness across his chest that he can then kind of carry rocks. And his dwarven pride is hurt quite a bit, being forced to carry rocks in such a fashion, but he kind of just grumbles to himself and continues onward. And the purple tiefling kind of trots up next to you, and you can see that they had actually taken away his eye patch. He had it the night he had it earlier in the day yesterday, but they kind of needed to take everything, as you guys are now in just the very basic gear of of burlap pants and a cotton shirt, and not much else, as you were very much in these in prisoner gear. This tiefling kind of comes up next to you, and you can see that there is what looks to be just this gnarly acid burn that comes down over his eye, and he just has a bunch of scars on his face, and he has a black handlebar mustache. And he just slinks up next to you and says, "So you're really gonna do it? You're really gonna try and become the king in a day?"
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Well,
Who do I gotta take? Is it the dwarf? He seems easy.
Nazca? No. Nazca's no. You said who did take? I told you who the biggest guy was. It was Kenyu.
I wasn't really listening, but okay.
All right. Well,
Can you?
how about this?
I killed a few Kenku, I think.
Can. What if I told you I could secure you a weapon of sorts, and then you could just rush him when no one else was really looking? I can either try and find one of those shovels lying around. I can pick up a pick, and then you could just charge him and take him out one by one, or fight your way through it. Maybe just a
Where
really
is he
sharp
first?
rock.
Where is he first?
The tiefling just kind of motions off to the right side, and you can see that there is this 7.5 foot tall half orc with a large pick over his head, and he just seems to be crushing rocks very easily, just digging into them as he continues picking away.
I don't think you heard. I didn't say king of the prison in day one.
You're right. You said half a day.
Yeah. He looks like he's doing a pretty good job
He
being
looks
king.
like he is about 3 of you. If you were hugging yourself in fright, uh, and at least 1.5 of you, if one of you was actually jumping up scared shitless.
See, I always thought being a leader, we'd have like a little group committee. So if you want to be a part of this group, a democracy. How about I'll propose a vote. Okay, we'll organize an election, run a campaign, and then we'll see who people want to be in charge.
So you want a class president, but with prison?
Yeah, that sounds.
Because anything that we do in here isn't gonna matter.
What's he in for?
Honestly, I haven't asked, but I'm pretty sure if we asked, he'd tell us tax evasion.
Yeah, they do crack down pretty hard on tax evasion in the city.
It's a real problem. Would you believe that that's what I'm in here for? And he just kind of looks at you with this one eye. And you can see that his eye is a solid silver color. There's no pupil, which is kind of off-putting as there's also no real white. So it just looks like this steady band of silver looking right back at you. And he just gives you this large toothy grin.
No.
Well, that's the first step. It's just being able to see a little bit past people's bullshit. I'm still not going to tell you what I'm in here for, but as long as we both know that it was...
How long are you in here for?
How long am I in here for?
Yeah. Carry the 1.
I still have another 20 days. 20 days left.
That's cool.
Yeah, it turns out evading your taxes is a serious problem in this city, especially if you evade your taxes above the sewers. That was a mistake.
That's the downfall. The above ground bit is always the downfall of most people with their tax evasion.
Now, here's a serious question for you. Do you have any plans after you get out of here? What's your goal? What's your game here? And he just seems to be working next to you, and these guards are just kind of watching you two as you continue working. And Nazca's drawing most of the attention because he really can't do a lot of this manual labor.
Well, people which I thought were my friends, we did own a tavern. But I really just need my bar of soap from there, and then I'm pretty much up to nothing.
Well, if you want, I'm in a family. Pretty large.
What type of family? Does it have snake tattoo family? Because I don't like the snake tattoo family.
No.
Is there eyeballs in the family? Tattoo eyeballs? Because that's also pretty much anything with tattoos. I'm really not for right now.
I mean, you don't have to tattoo yourself.
Do you have eyeballs tattooed? Does he have eyeballs tattooed on?
From where you can see that there is what looks to be an oval-shaped tattoo that kind of goes underneath his collarbone. That you would assume to be an eye. And it is on the same side as the eye that is kind of removed. Or has been removed, his missing eye.
You don't worship some big floating multiple eyeball thing?
What? Why would I worship that? Well, the god's done for me. I'm in here. Worship gets you no place. It's all about your own actions.
People who like putting... I forget the name of the faction, even though I've killed a few of them.
I mean, who hasn't killed a few of them? Let's be real.
I know it starts with an X. Is it Xanathar? Like, out of character.
Make a history check.
Come on, I've stabbed multiple of them.
You've stabbed a lot of people.
Yeah, we killed him in the sewer, okay? History, where's my history? Okay, that is a 4.
Yeah, you're kind of
I
pulling
just
it up with this same, what was the name? What is the name?
It's not the Zhentarim. Do you know the other evil one with the floating beholder dude? They have multiple eyes tattooed on them to determine their rank. Are you a part of a faction?
And he looks at you with kind of a serious face, and he says, "Most certainly not." And then you see...
Cool, because I would have had to stab you.
You see a little
dead.
smile kind of play on his face.
Okay, I want to insight check this, because now I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Is this what it's like talking to Wolf? That is a 24.
So he puts on a very, very, very good mask, but you are able to see through it. In terms of him kind of saying like, "Oh yeah, I would never be part of that faction, definitely not." And you're kind of putting some pieces together as to his background. In that he does belong to the Eyeball Guild, or the Eyeball Guild is a good way to put it.
So he's a member of the people I've stabbed multiple times.
Yeah, but when you said that you had killed a few, he had also retorted, "Who hasn't at this point?" He didn't really seem to be holding much of a grudge.
Are you a current member? I said, if you were a member of a faction, would you be a current member of one?
I would think that if I was, that
hypothetically, if you were,
hypothetically, if all hypotheticals entirely, hypothetically, if I was a part of this guild, as you have put it, I don't see why other people wouldn't want to be.
Well, hypothetically, say that I still had friends.
Oh, look, it's this guy. So you still have friends?
Hypothetically, if I still had friends, yeah. And one friend got incinerated by a hypothetical guild of people covered in eyeballs. Hypothetically, someone may be inclined to kill members of this guild in retaliation.
That would make sense. That logic straight checks out.
Yeah, so hypothetically, would I have to kill you?
When did your friend die? When did your friend get burned alive?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's only been like 2 days, hasn't it?
Yeah. You're on day 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3 days ago. Feels like months, but it's only been 3 days.
I know. The days are just packed. Well, I've been in here. So hypothetically, it wouldn't be me who would have done any of the killing. So hypothetically, I don't see why you would ever have to stab me.
Because hypothetically, said guild likes slavery and all this evil nasty shit.
You want to know what else this guild likes doing? Investing in the city. Picking up people who don't have a home and giving them a cause.
So did the Zhentarim, and
yeah, and fuck them.
Oh,
they're
so you
dicks.
hate them? Do you want to know someone who is a member of the Zhentarim?
I'd love to.
There's this pale tiefling in here. It's got horns which look like a crown. I could forgive someone for being a part of the Eyeball Guild if they did something to him. Or arrange for his stay to be extended.
Could probably do that. I could
That would
probably figure something out.
But hypothetically that happened to someone, I would not stab someone who arranged that.
Hypothetically.
And I would be willing to help.
Hypothetically, if you stabbed me, I would kill you and bury you before the guards ever found out. Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, of course, it's all hypothetical.
All hypothetical.
And your name is?
You can just call me Zan.
Z-A-N, X-A-N?
Z-A-N.
Z.
Yep, sure. That made up letter.
Okay, it's coming from the people which created the language, but
yeah, so he is going to tell you that his name is Zan. And then that is where we are going to transition back. Now that our lovely secondary group is by themselves. As lightning has flashed, a glinting, light glistening and glinting off of the extended barrel of a drow gunslinger's firearm. As Hubris, you have pulled out your own pistol with the words of "Hey, knife ears!" Yelled out very, very loudly in the middle of this town area. In your on the mean streets of Waterdeep, which puts you. Where is this? This is on Sakir Street and the Slide, is where all of this event is happening.
Sakir Street and the Slide.
Yes. So. That is when we are going to roll for some initiative.
Dun, 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 dun.
Why can't you roll like that when I'm Calum?
Because you're not Calum.
I'm not Calum. That's a dirty 20.
Okay.
I got a 19.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So we have Hubris at 20, Ghost at 19, Kronk
16.
Holy
Woo.
shit, you guys are flying high tonight.
Because Ghost is in trouble.
Guys.
Ghost needs help.
And
And then this guy.
sorry, we're at Slide and
Sakir.
Suck your street.
SAKIIR.
Is not how I spell it.
A-double-I-R.
He gets.
Kronk has no idea.
All right, so Hubris, you whip out your pistol, shout out, "Hey, knife ears," and you are going first.
How close is he?
He is currently 15 feet away from where you are, and he is 10 feet away from Ghost.
Okay. Let's go do this. This is gonna be a first. Hubris's gun glows, and I'm going to place my Hexblade Curse on him.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
That's neato. What does that do?
Basically, for 1 minute, I get to do 2 extra damages, and if he dies, I get back 6 HP.
Seems pretty sweet.
Oh, it's gonna hurt a little bit. Okay.
Thank
So
you to
now-
B-Beaks for the follow.
Hey,
Yay,
BB. Hey now. Hey now. I'm gonna shoot an Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
do the thing.
That is a 15 plus 6, 21?
A 21 does hit. Roll for damage.
I like how you had to check. Where's my D10? I should have. Well, I just got home, but hello. Here it is. Ooh, 7 and 4 is 11.
Okay.
Yeah. points of force damage.
Sounds good. He does not like that. Ghost, it is your turn. Unless, no, because Hubris, you used Hexblade's Curse and your standard action. So, Ghost.
I am going to turn around, revealing that I am not a half elf, and that I
Is
am
it the
in
dramatic
fact,
cape
yeah.
throw?
I grid my teeth that are the canines are glinting in the moonlight and the lightning, and I am going to use my bonus action to mark the scent.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go. I haven't smelled a drow in a while.
He's just kind of like, he took the hit of the Eldritch Blast and kind of turns his head up to see you. He looks very perturbed. He is not exactly sure what he is looking at.
And then I'm going to try to restrain him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna like shift over and grab him.
Okay. Make a athletics check.
For those of you watching in the stream, you can check my stats and notice that they are ridiculous.
Yes.
I got a dirty 20.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So
Six.
yeah, so you grapple onto him as he just kind of tries to struggle. He got an 18 on the die, but that was not enough. So next up is Kronk. Kronk, what would you like to do?
Did you say we were 15 feet away?
You guys were 15 feet away, and now Ghost is currently has grappled this drow.
Oh, she's got him grappled. I guess I'm let him have it.
Okay.
Ball and chain, just boom.
Okay, sounds good. Roll for roll to hit.
I'll just roll damage. Oh no! Oh, it wasn't in the bone circle here. Okay, 16. We can
Okay.
live with that.
A 16 as you go to strike out against this guy. As your ball gets very close, he manages to shift his shoulder out of the way.
Sorry.
Yep.
That's without my bonus. That's just on the die. 20.
Okay.
2.
Plus 6, yeah.
But his shift is not enough to allow him to escape the ire of your ball. As it crunches down into his shoulder, where Ghost kind of like pushes him into. So roll for damage.
And with +4, 9. 9 points of damage. Bludgeoning.
Okay. So he goes to... There we are. So it is his turn. So Ghost, you've kind of like taken him from the back. And he is going to whip around in your grapple, so that way you're like, you still have him, but he's managed to turn enough away, and you see him reach his hand into his coat as you feel a long metallic cylinder poke up through that coat towards you, and he is actually going to take a shot through his coat at you.
Okay.
What is that? So, does a 19 hit you?
It does.
Okie dokie. So, that is going to be 5 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
as well as 14 points of poison damage.
Oh, shit!
As you hear this loud crack, as the thunder rolls through, following the lightning that led off this battle. But he, and he just kind of tries to move, but your grip on him does not lax as you still have him.
No, I'm down.
Oh, you're down? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you drop down to the ground, and he looks at the two of you, and he is just going to begin running down the street. He is going to move 30 feet away from where you guys are. So Hubris, you are currently 45 feet away from this drow. Kronk, you can make an attack of opportunity if you would like.
I would like.
Yes.
I gotta remember to add things. I got so excited I got new dice and they keep rolling high. So so that's 19 to hit.
Okay. Yeah, 19 hits. Roll for damage.
Again, 9 altogether.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I will take my
This was part of the reaction.
Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
So next up is Hubris. And Hubris, you saw Ghost grab onto this drow figure who just turned and in one quick motion just shot her right in the stomach. And you just see Ghost just drop to the ground as he begins running away as Kronk hits him with his ball and chain. What do you do?
It is that flashback to when Ghost got flash fried in his head playing out again. And he like walks forward towards Ghost, looks at Kronk, and just yells at him to get her. He'll move forward up to 30 feet.
Okay. So that puts you 15 feet away from the drow.
I'm going to place my hex on him now.
Okay.
And then take my pistol and give him the old Eldritch Blast. Damn it. Sorry, close to a natural 20. No, but it's 19, 20, 25, 25.
Yes, that hits. Roll for damage.
Cool. He's going to take max damage. Plus... He's going to take... Okay, hold on. I gotta math this out.
Okay.
From Hex, he's going to take 4 necrotic. And then he's going to take wait, no. That's 10, 14, 18 total, 14 force, 4 necrotic.
Okay.
Oh no, and 20 because of my first text blade. It'll take 20 total.
Okay.
Yes. I can math.
He does not like that at all. Ghost. Roll for a make a death saving throw. You're muted.
16 on the die.
Okay.
I know I'm muted.
Sounds
I'm a
good.
professional.
Unlike this guy. I got thirsty. Thirsty for blood. Kronk, it is your turn. As you see Hubris just in this ranged battle with this drow as he continues to run. He is 30 feet away from you, but you see that Ghost is currently on the ground, looking very badly wounded. As the rain's coming down, and you can just see that there is a pool of red kind of coming out from around her.
You're muted, dude.
It was great. The big words came across my screen too. You're muted. Every fiber of his being is like crush, kill, destroy. But Hubris said, "Take care of Ghost," and I'm like, okay. And then it clicks in his dog thinking. He's like, med kit.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets out his med kit and stabilizes her.
Okay. Sounds good. And then do you have anything else that you would like to do on your turn?
No, because I had to interact with the med kit, action to save her, and then I got nothing else I could do.
All right. Sounds good. So next up is this fellow who's looking mighty injured after Hubris. You've taken several shots at him, but he looks at you and he just gets this very large smile on his face, seeing as how there is another gunman now. He was very confused at first when he first saw your weapon, but he understands now what it is. So he is going to make a shot at you. as you see him level up this long pistol directly at you. He is going to get a 15.
Hubris walks forward, raises his hand, and casts shield and baps it aside.
Okay.
That's going to increase my AC by 5.
All right, sounds good. So, he is then going to kind of get a frown on his face, and you see him continue running down this alley, just running away from you, and he moves another 30 feet.
Okay.
And then Hubris, it is your turn.
Gonna do this song and dance, chase him,
Okay,
and fire at him.
sounds good.
Yeah, that might not hit. 18?
18 just hits. Roll for damage.
Okay. That. Oh, that's 9, 10, 13. And. Wait, that's the wrong dice. Okay. 13. Oh, it's another 20.
Okay.
If it matters, 4 necrotic and however many my brain. Sorry.
Yeah, he is looking
Steam.
very, very injured now. And do you have anything else that you want to do for your turn?
Don't make this harder than it needs to be. You yell.
Okay. So Ghost is currently stabilized at 0, which is good. Kronk, it is your turn, and you can see that Hubris is about 45 feet away from where you are, and this drow is about 60 feet.
Interact, snatch up Ghost,
Okay.
and then action, run, bonus action, run,
Okay.
and then action surge,
Oh, shit.
and then
Throw
action,
Ghost down.
throw Ghost at him. So that should, okay, so 60, and they were what?
45.
Hubris was 45, the drow was 60, so you just
so
get
I
up to the
make it
drow.
there.
Yeah, you make it to him.
Unfortunately, I'll be doing less damage, but because I can only fight with one hand,
Okay.
and no, he's too angry to even come up with a quip or a line. This guy took Ghost down, so he's just all seeing red. Never attack Ghost.
Mhm.
You know. Oh, fuck. Natty 1.
Yeah, that does
You're
not.
not lucky or anything.
No, I are not lucky. It jumped out of the bone circle, so.
Yeah, at this, he is going to see you with Ghost over your shoulder, just swinging this ball and chain. He sees Hubris has just kind of been like taking shots at him while walking steadily down this corridor like he was a psychopath or a serial killer or something. And so he weighs his options, and then you see the world around you get pitch black. And Hubris, the world around you gets pitch black as well as this drow casts a darkness spell. And then he is going to attempt to leave, as you guys are all currently in this magical pitch black darkness. But as he leaves, Kronk, you can feel his presence shifting away, so you get an attack of opportunity.
At disadvantage because of the darkness?
Yes.
Okay. Come on, Kronk dice. Don't fail me now. A 17 and a 13. Woo!
All right.
So either one of them's like a 19.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll hit.
All right. And again, he's still too messed up to even do a Kronk quip.
Okay.
Way messed up. Okay. And only 8 points of damage this time.
Okay. Sounds good. So he actually cries out, and as he does, you actually see that bubble of darkness just immediately vanish as his concentration falls, as he tries to get away. And he is looking very, very, very hurt now. And he is going to attempt to, again, just backing up and try and run. And as he does, he just continues just down this alleyway. Then it would be Hubris's turn. But as you guys are all standing in the rain, you see, Hubris, you see a surprisingly familiar figure, although you aren't necessarily sure how to place them as something that is actually familiar. But what you see is that as this drow figure is running, a red hooded figure that seems to be wearing this red mask leaps down from the rooftops directly in this drow's way as he is running with his eyes back turned towards you. As he looks forward, you see his body and motion completely stop as a sword juts out through his back as this person has just caught him from running. And then they pull their sword back, throw the body down to the ground. And they'll look over at the three of you and just give a nod. And then you see them just run off down an alleyway.
That's the way it's done.
Hubris would have like nodded back, holstered his gun, jogged up to Kronk, and what the fuck was that?
You hear this loud boom of thunder off in the distance, and you can hear make perception checks.
That's 11.
11 and a 2. And then Ghost doesn't get one because unconscious. So yeah, you guys don't really hear much of anything other than just this rain and this thunderous sound.
And Kronk lifts one of his feet, and he's just about to stomp this guy's head into the bush. And at the last moment, he switches it and crushes the guy's chest. Just whatever is there gets, a size 22 foot down on it.
The Andre the Giant boots straight into the gut. Yeah. And Hubris, looking around, you can see that this guy's firearm is still kind of, it was clutched in his hand, but after the stomp on the chest, it lets go, and it is just off on the ground.
Quick question: is my tail prehensile?
You've used it prehensile, but it's not very strong, as you are a very thin tiefling.
Yeah, like just hands of the pocket, left, right, tail grabs it, slips into his coat.
Okay. And make a perception check as well. A 2? Okay. Sounds good. And Kronk, you can make a perception check as well if you would like.
Oh, these dice are truly Kronk. 5.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, you guys take this dude's firearm. You've stomped a hole into his chest. What else would you like to do?
I'm gonna pat him down.
Okay. So make make an investigation check.
Something I'm good at. Hey, 17.
Okay, so with your 17, if your face could get white as a sheet, whiter than it already is, you would realize the amount of luck that you have as you begin poking around at the hips and sides of this person, this former drow, and you realize that Kronk had been just inches away from stepping on a packet of black powder that this dude had at his hip. But luckily it is intact.
Kronk, when you're going to do some body desecration, let's pat it down first.
I'll try to remember.
Cool.
Hey, go.
Yeah!
Yes.
I, scramble behind Kronk and, look up, touch her face. Is she...
Yeah, she's fine. You can see that there is actually the form of condensation of steady breaths that seem to be escaping her mouth as the overall temperature around you has dropped to the point where you can start seeing your breath.
God.
And because she was gut shot, I'm not fireman's carrying her. I'm carrying her low, like almost like a baby.
Yeah.
Like her head across the shoulder kind of thing. So
How
So
far
that-
are we from?
What?
Sorry.
Also, with your investigation checking the body, you would have realized that the boots that the drow is wearing were a much more fancy make and model than the rest of the clothes that he was wearing. Make an Arcana check as you kind of investigate these boots.
18.
So you would know that these would be elven boots of sneaking, which would explain why this gunslinger was not leaving footsteps behind him as he was actually following people.
Okay. Well,
Does he have a cloak?
He was just wearing kind of like a half cape and then a cowl.
All right, I'd scoop him up by his half cape, and use the cape like a bag, and sort of his legs dangling out on one end, and I just grab the two bits of cape and lift him up like, okay, we got him.
And as you lift him up, you can see that a lot of the viscera and gore that you had crushed into his chest just kind of falls out over his legs and pants.
Okay.
you see Hubris raise a finger. Snap. Clean.
The blood goes away, but there are still just organs hanging out.
Someone dumped a meat wagon here.
We got him.
Yeah. Let's go back to my apartment.
All right.
Because if we take him back to the actual house, there are going to be workers in the morning going through everything.
Good idea.
Okay, so you guys are planning on just carrying a mostly crushed body through the streets of Waterdeep? Just wanted to check.
I'm gonna do my best, like alleys. Hubris goes forward, scouts, like left, right, clear,
Okay.
go.
Make a perception check.
Okay, 13.
All right. So with your 13, you can hear that a guard spell has begun to be rung. As you begin to hear people now coming to investigate what the hubbub in the dock ward was.
Go.
So I would like for the two of you to make stealth checks. And normally this would be at disadvantage, but luckily it's dark enough out.
Right.
If anything, Hubris, you can roll your stealth normally, but Kronk, if you are carrying two bodies on you, as well as wearing your chainmail, that is definitely going to be a disadvantage on a stealth.
20.
Nice.
Oh.
Now,
Nice.
come on now. Just
16.
give me something here. 17 plus 2.
That's not bad.
18.
What'd you get, Hubris?
14, so 16.
Okay. Yeah, so you manage to stealth your way through the city, and you make your way north out of the dock ward, so that way you can get more closer to the market district, kind of where you had fallen off the roof and met Ghost the night previous. And you are quickly able to make your way back towards your apartment.
At some point when we were going along, like when he was looking around a corner, I took the guy's legs and just kind of pushed him over top, so they're laying like on top of his body.
Oh,
You know,
God.
like
Yeah.
on the sides of his head or his boots.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to carry that way. and
Okay.
pick it back up.
Yeah, so you guys make it all the way back to Hubris's house, and it is roughly 11 at night, around midnight by the time that you actually get there. But now you just have this crushed in drow form, as well as a little bit of peace and respite. Or so it would, so you would believe, until about 15 minutes later, you get a knock on your door.
Your chair is still there, right, Hubris?
Yep.
Yeah. So the baby cradle sling goes down in the chair.
I'll let it pass this time. Jokingly.
Put the goo guy in your chair.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hubris is gonna drape his coat over Ghost, snap, dry them both off, then walk over to the door and open it slightly.
And you see what looks to be just utter blackness, but then a lightning flash happens off in the distance, and you see the outline of a 7.5-foot tall orc wearing dark leathers standing in your doorway.
Jesus Christ.
Evening,
Girl Scouts.
Hubris.
Oh. We don't want any cookies.
It's getting awfully late out. Mind letting a friend in?
Hubris looks left, looks right, like quizzically, almost mockingly, then shakes his head and opens the door.
All right. And he, hands in his pockets, he just walks confidently into your place. And he looks over. And Kronk, how tall are you?
8 foot.
Yeah, so he just kind of looks up at you and just...
Just one eyebrow.
Then he looks over at Ghost. And he kind of gets a smile on his face and nods as he does. And then he turns to you, Hubris.
So, I believe you're supposed to be at the docks. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
Unless
well,
you found something.
most of something. The rest of it is back at Slide and Suck here. And I'll boot the foot of the dead drow.
Okay. And he just kind of leans over and looks at it. It's like, and he kind of checks him over a little bit and sees that he doesn't have his... did you guys remove his shoes? Or did you leave his shoes on?
We didn't really have... Well, we had 15 minutes. Hubris would have done it.
All right, so he just sees footless drow. He kind of gives a curious look.
Haven't had drow in this city for quite some time. Well, if you say this is what's been causing problems on the docks, then congratulations are in order, I would say. Isn't that right, big guy?
We have one less now.
And that's the part that counts. And, like I was telling your friend Hubris earlier when we were having our conversation, you guys gotta be damn heroes, isn't that right?
Kronk, bang, dunks his head into the thing, but doesn't react, He hits his head on the ceiling, and he's just like... And he's looking at Hubris like, duh, yeah, we're heroes,
Oh. I feel like some congratulations are in order. At least a few. Now, you've done something for me, so I can say with confidence that you're no longer just a viper, but you have proven yourself to be a wolf in the Zentarum.
Ha! He doesn't know why that's funny, but...
And
knowing a wolf, I'd rather stay a viper. Jokingly.
It's fair. Like I said, I don't really give a shit about their ranks, but I know other people care just a little bit. But I believe these are for you.
And he will hand you a satchel of 50 gold pieces, and then he'll hand one to Kronk as well. And he'll walk over and give Ghost a look up once over, and then he'll set some gold next to her as well.
50 gold per?
Yep, 50 gold.
Fuck.
See,
Hey, D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
being part of our little family isn't all bad. Some would say it's pretty lucrative. And look, you even gotta be a hero after all. I would say this is a win, wouldn't you?
I still don't trust this whole situation, but yes, it is very lucrative.
Being a hero is always great.
It sure
Too bad there wasn't a
is.
bunch of people there to see it.
Well, just know that a bunch of people are very, very, very grateful for the efforts you put in. And if you're ever looking to join into a big family, we always got an opening just your size, buddy.
And in his head, he's like, I've got a family.
Yep.
Aww.
Now, Hubris, if you could please help me carry this mass, or whatever it is you've done to this fucking drow, outside with me, I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going to lift this guy.
That wasn't a
you're
question.
steering. Okay, yeah, okay. Hubris walks over and
And he goes over and he kind of picks it up with you until he leads you outside, leaving just Ghost and Kronk inside of your apartment. And as you get onto the streets, he kind of motions for he carries it over with him down a alleyway that's just adjacent from where your house is. And you see that old Nubtooth, your dear orc counterpart, is there, and he actually takes this drow along with some other Zents, and they head out. And you see Zaraj just kind of just wipe his hands a little bit, and then without warning, he turns around and he just punches you square in the jaw. So he is going to deal 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
and I'm down.
His intent was definitely to knock you down to the ground. And he is just standing over you, and he says,
Now, I thought we agreed that you were going to be lying low. I understand having to go to the docks, but introducing yourself to every single worker going on about your house when you're supposed to be in jail isn't exactly discreet.
Whoa! Wait, worker. That was earlier today.
yep.
But I told him I paid off my fine.
Then how do you explain the you that is currently serving his time if anybody asks? Then we have a fucking problem. Now I know this is going to sound a little odd coming from me, but a little bit of honesty goes a long way, especially in our line of work. So if you can be honest about being dishonest, then we'll find ourselves a happy medium. Do I make myself clear?
Transparently.
Good. Now, I'll be in touch. Whether you know it or not, I'll be there, making sure that you make the right decisions. But until then, enjoy your bar.
And he just puts his hands back into his pockets and he begins walking off down the alleyway until he gets to the end of the lane and turns.
What's that saying? A kiss with a fist is better than none? He'll just like spit a tooth onto the ground.
Okay. And then you make your way back to your apartment. Yeah, and you'll see that Ghost is still very much passed out, and Kronk is kind of gotten himself into his sleeping position as last he was in here. As you guys can either continue sleeping here at your place or go back to the bar now that the drow body has been removed.
It's raining. Hubris like takes a corner and nods to Kronk goodnight.
All right. And that is where we are going to go into our first break for the evening. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has stuck with us so far. Thank you for letting us go through our first section with Wolf in jail and then followed up with a gunfight on the dock ward. I'm sorry I keep almost killing your characters, LB.
One shots. Both of them are one shots.
You had a new follower, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can
I had
I-
a new follower, BB.
BB.
Can I do my thing for your
Yes.
follower?
Yes, I don't know what your thing is. I'm very excited and scared, but I'm amazed at the same time. What is this?
When there's a new follower around here, I take this mallet and hit that guy in the face.
I love it. I love it.
That is
Thanks,
such a
BB.
great sound.
All right. So satisfying. All right. Thank you to everybody who's stuck with us so far. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless you are going to grab a drink, grab a food, grab a friend, bring them back, and we'll be right here. So don't go anywhere, and we will see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, every people, and welcome back to the Waterdeep Dragon Heist stream, where a lot of good stuff is happening. If you guys missed it at the beginning, we are going to be having, we are currently having a giveaway, and I will post the link in the chat. So if you're following, there's the link to the giveaway. And if you are listening to this audio cast and you're listening to it this week, the week of November 6th, 2018, then you will, then this Sunday or Saturday, you can come by and say hi to all of us people as we lose our minds playing tabletop RPGs. But
For extra life.
for extra life, it's for the kids. It's not just because we wanted to do it. You ruined it. Duh. Where'd you go,
Alright,
LB?
chat decided to rub up on stuff.
That's okay. I can fix this. So we
There I
are
am.
going to be shuffling around.
Ooh, yeah, I'm Kronk.
Ooh, I always get one shot. I'm gonna die.
Oh, me as Wolf? Oh, that's bad. That would be hard to play.
Not enough
Just
trauma.
picture an asshole and then you got it.
RJ, you're in my thing again.
Oh no.
That's
LB's
okay.
hubris. Oh, there we go.
There we are, and
Ah.
boom. So, yeah, so last we left off, you guys had been staying in Hubris's apartment, going to sleep. Wolf, you were making friends in prison, and this is when we are actually going to go into a fast play section, as there is about 20 days of downtime until Wolf gets out of the prison. You guys have a little bit over a 10-day until your bar actually gets renovated to function as a bar. Then, of course, there is going to be the process of hiring staff, as well as I know that Ghost has been wanting to do a few side missions as well, since you had been going out at night hunting. So we are going to be going through that for you guys, covering that over your next 20 some odd days. While Wolf, you are going to be going through your fast play in prison. So we are going to finish out the day that we were on with Wolf as you were doing municipal labor outside of the walls of Waterdeep proper. So what would you like to do as Zan has introduced himself and managed to get you a sharp rock to hang on to? And after a while, you had seen that Nazca had actually, with the help of Zan, been able to convince the guards to let him work as instead of carrying rocks, they affixed a small pick to his stump arm using the hole that was on the top of the prosthetic to kind of screw one in. So he is currently helping out mining with this pick hand. But what would you like to do? Currently, you've just been having to move rocks all day. They brought out food again, and it was once more just dished out for each of you. This kind of grayish soup stew with a stale piece of bread to go along with it.
I haven't eaten for a while, have I?
You haven't eaten since breakfast yesterday, and you have been working all morning.
Oh, man. Guess I'll eat it.
Okay. Yeah, so you eat it.
My chicken.
And it does not taste great. It's palatable. You can eat it. If you were outside of prison, you probably wouldn't recommend people eat it, but you're able to do
I
so.
know someone I would recommend this to.
Kronk, obviously. He loves food.
No, he's a pale tiefling.
I don't know. Doesn't ring a bell.
I don't know.
Yeah, so as you are sitting eating, Zan will come over next to you and he'll continue eating. He'll eat with you as well. And as he's sitting next to you, he's just kind of staying quiet, just enjoying his food. He's making idle conversation with you, but none of it seems to be any of the hypothetical games that you guys had been playing earlier. But these are all very the things that he's saying are more akin to kind of spotting things out with the guards and with other prisoners, and he'll point and just be like, see how that guy over there, whenever he's lifting his rocks, he always tends to favor his left side over his right. He went up against Kenyu, got a busted rib, and he's doing his best to hide it from the guards because they don't want them to know that they were fighting, but all you gotta do is really pay attention. And that guy over there, and he points to this guy, and you can see that there's some bruising that's visible underneath his collar, and he seems to be one of the guards that's on duty. And he just leans in close to you and goes, "That guy's marital problems are weird. All you gotta do is listen. That's it."
Yeah, well, I was also told by the guard, as long as it's behind closed doors, they don't care about the domestic stuff.
Well, yeah.
That's quite
Waterdeep.
bad.
Look, just because the cities are splendorous does not mean that the inside of the doors are. A lot of weird shit goes on in this town, but most people just look past it. You don't have to look past it if you don't want to. But most of the time, if you don't look past it, you end up in here. With me. With you. And with all of these other fine people.
Now, I'm terrible with names, and we all know that. The handyman.
Nazca?
Noska. I need to remember that. What's he in for?
We're going to say tax evasion.
Tax evasion. So if we were going to give a crime, say tax evasion, for everyone who knows our sign language, how many tax evasion people are there in here?
Well, that's the thing, is that most people here know that language. It's called Thieves Can't, but in here it's most certainly Thieves Can. And that's kind of the kicks, is that when we're here, if we talk with our sign language, the guards can't hear us. But then other prisoners, if they see you, they'll know. So you have to make that a conscious effort. Whether or not you want to talk lightly to where the guards can hear, but you know that you'll be safe and your information will go to where it needs to go, or you can use our regular network, our regular way of speaking to each other, and possibly risk other people finding out. Kind of like how I know, based off of your and Nazca's conversation last night, that you two are planning something? Not very smart.
He's planning something.
He's not very smart.
Yeah, I gathered, or else he'd have both hands.
Now,
Like us.
here's the real question I have for you. You want to be a king of the prison? Why not just be king of Waterdeep? I mean, sure, they have their open lords and their closed lords, but under the right rule, I'm sure that we could probably change things for the better. Wouldn't you agree? And there's all these Zentarum and nasty Xanathar agents ruling around this town. Wouldn't it just be easier if there was just one force, one person to make all those decisions?
And who would that be?
Could be you, could be me, could be anybody who forces their way and scrambles their way all the way to the top. And that's the thing. How? Well, that is a very, very, very interesting predicament. My current plan is to stay where I am in my family, and create steps for myself along the way until I can lead. And then
Isn't your leader a floating beholder?
Yes.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, let's say that the head of my family is a floating beholder. Hypothetically. Hypothetically, let's say that the majority of people don't know that, and they're just looking for a name. Anybody could take that name.
But wouldn't the actual leader be kind of pissed?
Wouldn't the actual leader hypothetically in this situation be dead? If he was hypothetically an egomaniac, I very highly doubt that he would just let somebody say, "My turn," and then push him out of the way. Hypothetically.
Say I wanted to be the king of Waterdeep. What's to stop you from wanting to take me out?
Well, hypothetically, if you were to become a king of Waterdeep, wouldn't you need a right-hand man? Somebody who's looking out for you?
Look at the dwarf who doesn't have a right hand and be like, well, it's not going to be him.
No. He's much more of the enforcer type. Not a whole lot going on upstairs. But, again, if you wanted to, we could see ourselves to the top.
No, I'm always interested.
Well,
nothing better to do.
Then let me introduce you to a few people.
But I do like being in charge.
And that is something that you can take up with our hypothetical boss if that moment ever arises. But while we're in here...
Wait, I'm not joining you guys. Officially.
Oh, of course not. Why would you ever...
I don't like eye tattoos.
That's fine.
We can do like
If
her
you-
story
if
called
you
The
were-
Godfather. Are we going to take out like the heads of all 5 families at once and
Think about it
become
this
the only
way.
family?
What did you say your name was?
Well, I didn't.
Well, what's your name? I've already told you mine.
Yeah. And mistake number 1 was telling me your name. But yeah, you can call me Wolf.
All right, Wolf. Let's say, hypothetically, again.
Can we just assume all of our conversations hypothetically so we don't
No.
keep saying this word?
Nope.
You want to keep saying hypothetically? Okay.
Let's just assume, for a brief
Never
minute,
assume.
that you did join this family.
Don't put me up
You
to
already said that you don't like the eyes, you don't like all of these, but if we're already talking about how great it would be to be a king of Waterdeep, if you were the ruler of that guild, you could make it whatever you wanted. You could just have it be wolf heads everywhere, and then you would be the wolf gang. You would hand out pucks to people. I don't really know what all that you really want as your MO, but if you became powerful, if you became the ruler, then there would be nothing stopping you. Then nobody would stop you.
You as my right-hand man will also be my inside man.
I could.
Then I wouldn't have to be inside and there wouldn't be anything suspicious. Because hypothetically, another family of snakes may be able to track me at this stage. So probably not best, hypothetically, me being
Well, let me see what I
surrounded
can
by
do.
eyes.
In this city, everyone's surrounded by eyes. But let me see what I can do. And he'll just end up leaving you as you were. And he'll go and he'll return his food. As he somehow managed to eat all of his food during the time that you guys were having this conversation, even though he was being rather long-winded. And so for the next several days, Zan will actually introduce you to more people. He'll introduce you to Noska and really get you guys on a much more than just him giving you the bird from across the cell. He will also introduce you to the human and the half-orc that were... or the human and the half-elf that were down the hall from where you were, named Grant and Carlisle. And then eventually, towards the end of your first 10-day, he will introduce you to you have a very high perception, but you had actually kind of just glossed over this entity within the prison. As you see that there is a tiny kobold who currently has the cotton shirt that he was given that was far too large for his person, kind of bundled up so that way he can give himself a hood to make it easier on his eyes to see.
It sounds amazing. Does he need a job? Because I know a tavern that's hiring.
And speaking of a tavern that's hiring, we are going to transition back to the other three.
Before my end of the 10-day, did old mate frame the fake hubris to extend his stay? Because his stay was only 10 days.
Yes. So currently Fake Hubris has been trapped for... he got his stay extended another 5 days. When you had actually gotten home, or not home, but when you had returned to the Hall of Justice, You had seen Zan actually plant a very sharp rock in not Hubris's back pocket, and then later, as the guards were coming, he put on a very worried expression on his face and looked at the guard, looked at the end of the hall, and kind of like brought the guard in, whispered something into his ear. And then the guard ended up going down, finding another weapon on fake Hubris, and they extended his stay by another 5 days. So that is what you have done in your first half of prison. So, Kronk, Ghost, and Hubris, you guys, Ghost, are you going out hunting during your night times?
Yes.
Okay, so make a series of investigation checks.
Okay. I would probably go one morning, like
Okay.
at sunrise, to the temple, disguising myself, probably as someone in mourning,
Okay,
so that I could see if there was any information that way too.
sure.
Okay. So I'm doing a what? Investigation. Okay. Oh, 19.
Okay. So with your 19, and is this for a night hunt or is this for your in-day investigation?
The day would have been
Okay.
first. That makes a lot of
So
sense.
during your day investigating around, you actually see in the God, what is it? The Spire of Morning? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yes. I have it here. I promise. So.
The Spire of Morning.
Oh, I was right. Yay me. Yeah. Yes, in your as you go into the Spire of Morning, you can see that there's a lot of white and gold and illustrious colors that are kind of spread out and about. And as you come in, pretending to be in mourning, you go and you end up finding what looks to be a older man wearing while all of these other priests are wearing white robes. His robes are a very dark black that have a golden trim, and on the front you can see what looks to be a sun symbol that does not look like it directly correlates to the Morning Lord, but it looks like an older form of the same symbol. And you see that there are a lot of young people that seem to be kind of listening to what this priest has to say, and you kind of catch some of it as well, and it sounds very, very familiar to recants that you've heard before. And as you get closer, this old man you hear just saying, "And that's how Lathander came unto being. Simply, the death of a Monitor gave rise to a new god, and thus, through the purifying forms of fire, we found our true god. Now, I know that some of you have many questions that I could possibly answer for you if you're so quizzical." And you see one of them raise their hand, and they say, they say something along the lines of, "But I thought that there was only one sun deity." And he says, "Yes, well, a Monitor is Lathander. Lathander is a Monitor. Just as there are many deities who encompass the sun, all of them shine brightly and fully. But, as though many of you seem to have forgotten, a Monitor is indeed the greatest out of all of them in terms of his brightness that he shines." And you see that there are a few, just general nods from the people that are all seeming to listen. And then says again,
It seems that there are those, though, who do exist outside of his light, and it is those that we need to be afraid of the most. It's quite something to behold, but that is why we make sure to carry the flame to the far reaches of society to ensure that all newcomers to the faith are drawn to us like moths in the darkest of nights.
and again, you see this group of young students all just kind of nodding and agreeing to themselves. And I would like for you, Ghost, to make a perception check.
You almost fucked me, dice. It's 19 also.
Okay. So with your 19, you can see that his face is more weathered now. There is facial hair on him where it wasn't before, but this is Father Lewitt. This is the person that escaped, that had burned down your village many, many, many years ago. Or burned down your home, sorry. Many, many, many years ago. And he seems to be spreading the faith of a Monitor amongst the young believers within Waterdeep. And you aren't sure how long he's been here, but he seems to have a cadence about him where he's just kind of been delivering this message.
Okay. I would like to follow him home.
Okay.
I would probably inform my friends as to what I was doing that day.
Okay.
And I don't know if I was specifically brought them, but I probably would have let them know that's what I was doing.
Okay. Sounds good.
But-
So yeah, you are out and you're going through this process of mourning. Make a deception check as you go to try and seek recompense for a dead lover while dressed in mourning, so that way you're not just like standing around the mourning spire.
Deception. Oh, that's a +0. Oh, that's a 5. That's a 5.
So yeah, you see as you are kind of asking around and making sure that you know these rights, as you are making these, as you're trying to just actually figure out what you are wanting to say to these brothers to make them believe that you have had a past lover that'll sound believable, you actually see that the man in this black and gold tunic catches eyes with you. And he kind of like tilts his head a little bit, and then he just like he kind of breaks in his own cadence and then just goes back to what he was doing. But you can see him just continuously looking over towards you.
Okay.
At least for about
Yeah.
5 minutes or so, and then you see him just kind of go back to what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would like to yeah, wait till he, well, is this like a place where he would live?
You would know that he could potentially live here if he's been here long enough. He might have found residence in another part of Waterdeep, but you aren't necessarily sure.
Yeah. Okay. I might try and find out if he lives there or not by asking others.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
0. God, that's a 10.
Okay. Yeah, so you start asking about where this brother lives, and I will roll an insight check for the person that you were talking about. You got an 8 or
A 10.
They got a 7 on insight. So they let you know that the father actually has he has a small a smaller home in the castle ward, where he lives kind of more amongst the nobles, seeming to have come into town with a decent amount of money to start with, and has kind of set himself up shop there.
Okay. In the castle ward?
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure that he's been there for a while. Like, I'm not gonna lose him if I go home.
Yeah, no,
Like,
he's.
okay.
They seem to let you know that he's been living there for about 4 months now.
Okay. And did they give me like a general he's around here, or
They have
just the castle ward?
They just said that he was in the castle ward. The person that you were asking to, and the kind of the way that you described it was more of like, kind of just like, oh, he seems rather old. How can he like travels from so far away to come into town every day? Does he live here? And they're like, no, he actually lives in the castle ward. And gave you more of a rundown for that.
Okay. Then I would probably bail and go get my friends and explain to them what's going on. More like she would be very anxious, like not scared anxious, but like I hate that I had to come back here to talk to you guys. I'd rather be watching him right now, but I would like you guys to come with me. And I'm going to make it very clear that I am going to murder this person.
It was heart-wrenching watching you go through that scene and knowing you had to make that decision, by the way. I just was like dying inside. And I mean, you said, blam, I found the guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's while Hubris is thinking, I give both my scimitars one quick, sharpen on the whetstone, and it's go time.
Hubris, you don't have to go.
Oh no, I'm all for going. I'm just like, So you're just gonna murder him in bed, or are you just gonna like lead him out with a boo hoo hoo and then, hello, my name is Ghost, you killed my father, prepare to die, cloak reveal? How fancy are you gonna get with this?
I'm probably just going to do what I did with the other two and choke the life out of them as I stare in their eyes. So if you don't want to witness that, you don't have to come.
Kinky, I'll be here. All the best.
Okay. So you guys are gonna head out. And what day is this taking place within your 10-day? Was this like the very next day after you got gut shot, or are you waiting?
I would have probably healed myself and waited a day to recover.
Okay, sounds good. You and Kronk are going to head out and kind of get that underway. And Hubris, as you are managing, you're just staying at home, kind of managing a lot of the reconstructive projects that are going on in the house.
For the most part, it's very much like Dr. Claw in like the study. He's just like not going outside for the time being.
Okay. And then what?
I did partway through wanted to start gutting the pistol that we got off the drow.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
Ooh, I'm actually okay at this. 18.
Okay. So you managed to very carefully dump the remaining black powder that was still in the barrel out onto the table that you're kind of working on. And then after you've made sure that it's cleaned and that it doesn't have anything that could possibly go boom in it, then you just start working your way through this, and you actually do manage to break it down to its basics. So you have a long metal cylinder, you have a firing capsule that takes place at the top. So the lock itself that just looks like a little switch hammer will press down and force the powder into the chamber and shoot out a rocketed bullet or projectile. And you kind of get the same idea, as that's kind of how your arcane focus works. But yours has rotating chambers in the back, whereas this just looked like it was meant for one specific kind of ammunition.
Okay. If it had taken place where Ghost had healed up, Kronk would Hubris would have asked Kronk to help him move his chair
Yeah.
to the new house, and he has like his gunsmithing tools,
His tinkerer's tools.
his tinkerer's tools, and he's just gonna start modifying his pistol.
Okay. Sounds good. You would also know as a hex blade that can't you focus on the weapon?
Yep.
Is that what this is? Is like a story based kind of?
It's basically like I'm gonna modify it so that like the barrel kind of can kaleidoscope out, and it can turn his arcane focus from like a normal pistol into like a small club.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I'm down for it. That sounds cool. So yeah, you are currently working on that. So Ghost, make another persuasion check actually, because you're going to be asking around trying to find where this guy lives.
Okay. Persuasion, I think was +0.
Yes.
Yes, 15. Oh, you can see my stuff. I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it takes you the better part of the day, but you do end up finding this guy's house, and he lives only about 3 streets down from where Rainier lived.
Cool. I'm going to lean over to Kronk. We're gonna sneak in there. I want you to grab him and cover his mouth. Do you understand?
Right.
And then I'll take care of the rest. Are you sure you're okay with this?
He's ultimately focused, like looking into your soul, kind of. This is the moment,
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and break into his house, assuming he's still at the church.
Okay. Yeah, so make a set of stealth checks, as typically when wandering through the castle ward, you are escorted by guards that will help take you to a specific person's house. But with your persuasion check, you were able to be like, no, it's fine. We're old family friends. And he was more... he was very infatuated with this very, very beautiful shifter in front of him. So he was just like, yeah, go for it. That's great. And it was also one of those things where it's like, you're traveling with 8-foot tall Kronk. It's not like, he's thinking it's not like you can stealth away super easily. Little does he know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, stealth check. Ooh, yes! 19!
All right.
Come on, Kronk. Come on, Kronk.
You got this, bud.
All right. Disadvantage, of course. That's a 15. So 17. And an 11, 12, 13.
All right. Wow, they got a 4. So yeah,
Woo!
they're doing fine. So you guys managed to sneak your way down an alleyway, and you find a window that you managed to kind of jiggle the latch on and creep inside of this house. And it is it's very much a basic house.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of splendor in its furnishings. It seems like it's very much just a place where he would come to rest. There are a few chambers that are spaced around. You can see that one is more of a worshiping room, just a prayer space where you can see that there is like a set of long wooden pews that have kind of been set out in this room, and you go through his kitchen and you can find that there is a lot of fruit. There's a surprising amount of meat in here as well, and not the dried hardtack that Kronk is used to, but it looks like he was actually planning on having a roast later in the evening. And you guys are just kind of peeking around, and you can see that he has a small library that he seems to have built up as well that contains only about 15 books at this point, but it's still just more of a private collection.
I hate to add complication, but I take advantage of my size, so I have to take the disadvantage of my size. Could I get through this window?
No, but we'll say for the sake of brevity that Ghost was able to come around to the front, open up the door, let you in that way without many people being none the wiser, as you guys had said, hey, we're going to go and visit this person, and then the door opens for you and you just get let in, so checks out to them. And as you guys are continuously looking around and kind of just inspecting this general vicinity, you actually hear the door open after you've been in there.
Is it just a one bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we probably posted it in an area that was like, I was thinking a doorway, and we were kind of on either side of it. So when he walks through, we can grab him.
Okay.
Sort of situation. That's kind of the general idea.
Sure. Yeah, so you hear somebody come through the front door after they kind of jiggled with the locks a little bit, and you had made sure to relock the door after letting Kronk in. And where are you guys currently staking out? Bedroom, study, prayer room, or kitchen? Or just in the main living quarter? Or in the main entryway?
What room is, I guess, facing, like, the back? That way, like, if anyone looks in, it'd be hard for people to see in the windows. I guess that'd be the area.
Yeah. So looking in through the back, the hardest place that people would have a time being able to see in would be the bedroom as well as the prayer room.
Okay. It's nighttime, or is it sunset yet?
It's getting close to later in the day.
Would I know that there is a prayer time at sunset?
Make a religion check.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, that's a 9 plus 1, 10.
So you would know that that Lathander worshippers and most sun worshippers are very much they pray more when the light is at its zenith or when it's first coming up in the morning. So you know that the primary prayer times are done for the day.
Okay.
And you can kind of just hear in the house feet shuffling around.
I would say the bedroom.
Okay. And so you and Kronk are posted up in the bedroom for about 10 minutes. And then that is when you see that there is a white-haired individual that walks through the doors, and it currently has his back to you as you see them just kind of entering into the room.
I grab him up.
Okay. Make a athletics check.
4. Oh, wait. Athletics plus 6. So 20.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Alrighty, sounds good. So yeah, you manage to grab this guy, and you just hear this as the voice is kind of muffled coming through the hand. And then Ghost, what are you doing as Kronk has grabbed this person?
I am just going to walk into the light, the fading light of the day, and reveal myself to him.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if he recognizes me, or if there's any recognition in his eyes.
Make an insight check.
Okay.
There's this large Goliath hand that's covering most of his mouth.
Insight. I was like, recognition check. Nope, that's not it. That's a 23.
These eyes look very, 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 very scared and very confused. There doesn't seem to be any look of recognition on you, as it looks like there's just a general misunderstanding from this guy's eyes coming out.
Okay. All right. Father Lewitt Waldner. And she's going to kind of step closer towards him. Do you not recognize me? It's probably been a long time for you. It's been a long time for me, too. It was very far away. Far in the north.
And you just see that there are tears kind of welling up in the eyes.
You know, the day you killed my family, all but 2 of us, was the day that you were trying to extinguish monsters from the world. At least that's what you were spouting. It's kind of ironic that instead of taking away monsters, you made one. And I ignite my claws. I'm walking towards him.
Okay, you smell uric acid very, very prominently in the room.
He's not.
Eyes are just closed, just kind of like steadily shaking head as tears are just streaming from the face.
Okay, I'm going to. I'm only going to ignite my right hand, and then I'm going to use my left hand to grab him by the throat, and I'm going to tell him to look at me.
He'll just open up his eyes, just very, very, very scared.
You know, the other ones weren't quite as pathetic as you. When I killed them, they didn't cry. They were praying.
He just like tries to like grab at a holy symbol that's just not there.
And kind of disappointed because I mean, like, she's just like, she's expecting, you know, like this whole thing is built up in her head, and she's like, she kind of looks at Kronk.
Kronk is, you know how he does that turn to stone kind of thing, like a statue? That's what he's got going on. So he's a statue who has just got this guy.
Okay.
And it's just blank, you know.
Okay. She's gonna look back down at him. Not even worth it. And I'm gonna start choking him.
Okay, so Kronk's hand is still over his mouth. Make a strength check.
A strength check?
Are you doing it with like the fire claw, or are you doing it with the normal? Okay.
No, it's not even worth the fire claw. Jeez. Oh shit. That's an 8. Okay.
So you hear the sounds of gurgling kind of against Kronk's hand, but he's like trying to like push your hand away as best he can.
I'm gonna grab one of his arms with my other hand, and it's with my left hand. I'm choking with my left hand. That makes sense. It's not as strong. But so I'm gonna grab his other arm and like hold it up against the. Well, it's my hand is on fire. Hold up against the wall or back while I'm choking him.
Okay, so make another strength check.
I rolled a natural 1.
I'm gonna say with I'm gonna say with advantage because he's pinned currently.
Thank you, Endor.
Helping people kill other people.
And that is a natural 20.
Okay. Yeah. So, Kronk, you were just holding this dude's mouth shut as you watch Ghost just steadily choke him out. And then the rage is kind of swelling within you now, Ghost. And Kronk, you actually see the flames from Ghost's claws begin to flare up. And it actually ignites one of the tabards that was hanging against the wall. But you just see all life leave this white-haired individual's face as you make them unconscious with the chokes. And you just continue to hold it there as the flames kind of creep higher against the ceiling until eventually you've held him there with just this death grip, kind of like extending your shifter claws out for a solid 10 minutes and just making sure that they have finally that they are deceased. And then
I'm gonna go ahead and like look at Kronk and let him know that it's okay to release him.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw him on the ground.
So as you throw him on the ground and as Kronk releases him, you realize that this is a clean-shaven man. this.
Whoops.
Yep. That he is that what you had thought had been a more monastic choice of not wearing a whole lot of pomp with him was actually a servant's regalia, and you seem to have just murdered the Lord's servant.
Thanks, Endor.
That's why I had to ask if Kronk had his mouth over his face.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's his. He has a big hand. Is the house on fire?
The house is currently catching on fire as the fires are extending onto the roof, and it seems like it is going to be. And because you held there for so long, these flames have kind of gotten out of hand. As you had thought to yourself, "Ha, poetic justice!
Yes,
It'll totally
yes.
burn down."
Yes. Time to go. And I'm gonna, I don't know. Is there a window in this room?
There was not, because you specifically asked to be in a room that did not have windows.
Okay, I'm going to push open the door or push through the door and go to probably the prayer room.
Yeah.
If there is a window in there and bust out the window, or not bust out, open it and get out.
Yep. So yeah, you will crawl out of the window. Make a stealth check as you do so.
Knew it couldn't have been that easy. Why do you keep rolling? That's a 16.
All right. So yeah, with your 16, you're able to quickly hop out of the window. No problem. Kronk, what are you going to do? As you are currently in a house as it is burning around you, and you know that the only real way that you can leave is through the front door.
Oh, through the front door?
Or by making your own exit through the back wall.
Or just the window.
Yep.
Bust out the wall window.
Yeah, I'm hoping the fire will take this evidence away. So I'll just shoulder through.
Okay.
The space as best I can.
Make a strength check as you do so.
Right. So just adding my strength bonus.
Yeah.
18.
Okay. Yeah. So you manage to just shoulder check your way out of this wall as you kind of it's very much a timing based thing. You kind of let the flames continue to go until you feel like the wall would be structurally weak enough for you to just shoulder check your way through. But you do manage to get your way through this door, and then you and Ghost are in this back alley of the castle ward. What would you guys like to do as you hear?
Fence hop.
Yep. As you hear bells starting to get rung.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna. We're in an alley.
Yeah, you guys had broken out into a back alley.
Okay, we're gonna make our way through the alley, away from the scene.
Okay, so make a stealth check. It's a set of stealth.
18. You are doing really well until you didn't do well.
Well, I had a dirty 20, and then I have a 7.
Okay. Yeah, so you definitely have people as you guys are making your way through Ghost, you kind of swivel your way in and out of people, and you're more focused on the thought that you had the right guy, that you had saved your epic monologue for just this moment, and now it seems to have just kind of been sullied at the fact that it wasn't the right guy, and you just managed to maneuver your way. Kronk, you currently have some soot on you, as well as just kind of some cuts and bruises on your shoulder from when you had burst your way out of the house. And as you're walking, a guard ends up coming up to you and noticing your sooty form. And he looks like he's about to question you. But then you see his eyes just kind of shift over as just plumes of smoke are now pouring out of this building that you guys had just exited. So it's one of those like, hey, can I talk to you for, oh shit! And he just begins running off as you guys make your way back to Troll Skull Manor.
I kick in the door. I'm going to go to my room and start. It's nighttime now, right? Everyone's gone. I'm going to start screaming in frustration.
Yeah. Hubris pokes his head up, study like wanders over and peeks in the door.
I'm
Go.
thrashing and throwing stuff, and it's not a great scene.
Ooh. It's like cracks the door slightly, closes the door again.
And unless you said something, Kronk would have followed you in and then just stood there like a statue while you're having your
episode.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of that.
All right. And then Hubris, did you have anything else that you wanted to do over the evening?
I'll talk to her later. And then he goes back to the study.
Okay.
Eventually the rage turns into crying, which Kronk has never seen her do before. She's just gonna sit on the floor in a ball, crying.
He'll, try to console.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem to take mind, and it seems to kind of bother her that you're touching her in this moment.
Hey, he gets it.
Yeah.
I could hear this from like where I am.
Yeah, no, I'm not being quiet about it.
Okay. Yeah, he was like sets down his tools, pushes his project away from him, and like leans back in his chair to think. And that's where the night ends for him.
Okay. So then your guys's, unless you had any other plans over the next series of days, and most of you are focused on all trying to lay low, as you've all now been caught up in some nefarious deed or another.
I mean,
And as you go through these next series of days, eventually the workers start to lessen and lessen and lessen, until eventually you are left with Troll Skull Manor in full function and form. But you still don't have anybody to hire yet, as you have not gone through the hiring process to actually pick out any of that. But we are going to switch back over to Wolf. So, Wolf, you have been making friends in prison, and these guys all are, they seem to have taken a liking to you for some reason or another.
I'm not used to people liking me.
Yeah, they like your foolhardy attitude. They think that that if they played their cards right, they too could confidently ask for chicken of a guard and possibly get it brought back to them. And they...
Have I received chicken at all this past
No, you have not
10 days?
received chicken once. But Zan is...
One of these days.
but Zan is kind of... he's kind of helping you as best he can.
Any way I can get chicken?
And he says to you, well, that depends. What are you...
I want a guard to bring chicken to me. It's all about the reputation.
Well, since we're still on the subject of family, I would say that I could possibly get you chicken if we, work together after this. Could possibly see what I could do.
Work together how?
Well, for the last 10 days, I've been dropping hypotheticals and different scenarios that could possibly play out. Usually with both of us, and sometimes Nazca, if he's around, being the kings of Waterdeep. Now, this friendship would need to extend past our time in here, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
I don't get
But
acquaintances
I'm not
chicken.
joining eyeballs.
Oh, I never said that you had to join eyeballs. I just said that you had to join the family. It's really rather simple.
Starting our own family.
Possibly.
One may call a wolf pack.
Well, I think that sounds like a mighty fine idea. He just kind of gives you this toothy grin that you've come to recognize from him. Now, I can...
Have I recognized him as being truthful when he does that?
No.
What's wrong with Wolfpack?
Nothing. It's fine. It's fine. He just keeps having this shit-eating grin. I mean...
Do you get punched often with that look? Because...
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. These aren't my original teeth.
Because I have a feeling I've done that smile myself, and it always results in me getting punched as well. So.
Yeah, it tends to do that. But if I think something's funny, I'm gonna laugh, right? Makes things a lot easier that way. So, when we get out of here, we'll still be friends. I'm most certainly going to call you a friend. And then you get chicken. Easy as that. Now,
No favors.
if you wanted the
No
guard
catches.
to deliver it directly to
Yes.
you, then I would say that hypothetically, were that to be the case, you would most likely want to join into a larger family rather than making your own. Because then people would know who you were with. And they would know that if they tried to start anything, that they would be silenced very, very, very quickly.
But then I'd have to be with a larger family.
I feel like I've said this many, many, many times, but
You
could
say I don't
still-
have to, but then you also said that...
You could be part of our family and still part of your wolf pack. The big boss, he just lets us do our thing. And it always seems to work out right for him in the end. So if you wanted, you could join us, either as an honorary thing or a permanent thing. And if you did, then I could most certainly get you a guard to bring you chicken. But
Why don't they just bring me chicken because I'm a part of you guys, not because I am the next future king of Waterdeep?
isn't that one and the same, though? Again, we've talked about our steps. First, we start with an agreement. Then we get the chicken. Then we take over the guild. And then you become a king. Very easy, reasonable steps.
Time frame? A week? A month? Well, admittedly, we have more than a week
These
left in
are long-term plans. Within a year or two, we'd be able to gain enough forces. If we quickly scaled up the ladder, then we could probably do it within a year and a half. But there are social structures that take place in this town that would need to get changed. There would need to be either a coup or a revolt of some sort to get the people to quickly change over their ruling style of government. We can do that. But all you want is chicken.
It's one decent meal.
Well, imagine a decent meal.
In front of everyone.
Imagine a decent meal, better than a decent meal, every day for the rest of your life, and you can make sure that everybody you care about also gets a decent meal. Now that sounds like a decent idea to me. So what do you say?
So it's a catch.
No catch, just friendship.
I'm on a roll to make a decision because I can't make my own. Oh, shit. Yep, let's do it.
He extends his hand out, and you shake his hand.
There goes the dice again.
Okay. So yeah, throughout the next 10 days, you are given chicken during your final stint in the prison, and you are brought this chicken by guards every day, and it seems to be the same guard. And you'll see him come in with this stale bread, and he'll break the bread open, and there's like fresh pieces of chicken in there. And he just sets that down for you, and then towards the end they kind of make a show that they are bringing you better food than the other prisoners. But you also gain several other contacts while you are here. You also gain one guard who seems to be the one that primarily brings you this chicken, and his name is Morris. And you also gain 3 more Xanathar contacts as well, by the names of Tommel, Poudson, and what was the last guy's name?
I get all this stuff sent to me after.
Yes, I will send you the
I'll write
list.
the notes down. Me with my contacts in 3 different factions.
So
How many factions are there? There's only like 5, right? I just got to join 2 others and I'm in all of them.
But yeah, so you the rest of your 10 days in prison actually goes by pretty uneventfully. You'll occasionally pester not Hubris, but after the initial time that they had been caught with a weapon, they just very much seem to always check their person and be very as much on good behavior as they possibly can, as well as making friends with this large Kenyu fellow, who is the half-orc king. And you see that, and you've seen Hubris like slink up to people before and just be on his best behavior when he wants to. So you are not surprised, but also still just kind of perturbed that this not Hubris does such a good job at also kind of being
Hubris.
At being Hubris, yes. But that is when we are going to go back to the other group, as you guys are in the process of hiring people. And as you do, as you're going through the hiring process, you are met with a lot of kind of disappointing applicants, until eventually you actually hear a knock on the door, and a red-headed fellow, I believe he has right here. Let me check real quick.
And not Volo?
No, this is...
Or no Fabio?
This is neither Floon nor Rainier. You see a half-elf standing before you, and he kind of has a darker complexion to him, so you would think that potentially that he is a half-wood elf, but he has a lute over his back, and he walks in, and he kind of takes stock of the place and all of the changes that you guys have made to it, and then says, I'm here about a job.
Yes.
By chance. More of an offer. Hello, my name's Davil. You may be familiar with my band. We call ourselves Not Doug. I was looking to see if you guys were looking for a resident bard group to possibly stake up in here, draw in some customers. We see that you have a nice place, but you haven't really opened your doors, and I haven't seen a lot of flyers. Your what is it? Your grassroots campaign really doesn't seem to be kicking. But our name playing in this nice place, drawing some customers. Seems good.
Is it just you?
No, I'm a 3-piece.
No, I mean like right now. Is
Yes,
it just you
it's
here?
just me. I'm spokesperson for the band.
Come in, step in.
He comes in and he pulls out his lute and he just starts strumming along. And then he stands, hops up onto the stage and he starts playing. And you see him kind of step off to the right, step off to the left. And then as he stepped off to the left, he takes one step back and says, this is the perfect acoustic spot. And he just starts playing from there. And it does sound very beautiful as he plays.
Heris walks over to the stage and opens the bottom compartment and digs around in it. So, Davil, was it?
Yes.
Your 3-piece for not Doug. And he keeps rummaging. How big is your audience?
Well, normally we play in places such as the Yawning Portal. Typically can draw in anywhere from 40 to 75 people if the room's good. Otherwise, we have had people just simply open their windows and let us play to anybody who cared for a drink.
Okay. So you do have a prior job. Guess I'll do that later. And
Traveling minstrel.
traveling minstrels.
Just decided to stick around for the colder months.
Oh yeah, we're coming up on the colder months.
Yeah, it is. At this point, you guys are in the last week of fall.
Okay. And what's your going rate?
Well, I could probably shake it with the fellows that as long as you give us free drinks, we'd be willing to play for 25 gold a week.
A week.
We
Okay.
have our own places to stay. Well, he means 10-day, not week. Sorry, Ed Greenwood. I bastardized your child. But if that seems to be a little bit much, that's fine. We'll also play our first few sets free to help really bring in the crowd, because again, I'm not going to ask you to ship out a whole lot of money, especially if you can't pay up eventually. Both our help shouldn't be too bad.
Now, I do have to warn you, one of the people who frequent this bar is quite the fan.
Oh, is he?
I think he would very much vouch for you guys.
Well, always glad to have a fan.
Yeah, I could be a total asshole and deny you guys right now. But I'm not, because I am also an entrepreneur.
Well, that seems like the smartest decision you've made today.
I think that's also the smartest decision I've made in a while.
Now, if you'd like, I do know some people who are in need of work, and they'd be willing to work for very cheap. If you need any help getting set up with servers or waiters.
We'll talk about contracts.
Oh, that's totally fine. I was more going to just refer them to you, and not necessarily a contract deal where we both get some weird payout from this. This is simply... My father used to play in this bar. And I would very much like to see it return to its former glory.
And... I guess... he stands up and he has like a viol.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just like starts playing along with Davil. Right. So former glory, 25 gold. No ulterior motives.
Why would I have any ulterior motives?
Oh, I don't know.
I have a song in my heart that just needs to be sung.
I'm just a little bit wary of people these days.
Oh. Don't know why.
Long story.
Well,
But
couple drinks, maybe I'll hear that story someday.
oh, it's a very wild story. Also, yeah, this is gonna be great. Hey, Kronk, Liv, if Wolf asks, I had a jam session with Davil.
So, Davil will just say, like, kind of give you a quizzical look, and well, if you want a jam session, he just starts plucking a little bit wilder. And he's going to get a 26 on his performance check.
Here we go. That is a 18.
Okay. So he is a professional bard, but he still is hooping and hollering as you play the viol next to him, kind of keeping tempo with him. And at certain points, he'll kind of instruct you verbally as to what to do, like, all right, play the fill, and he'll then start plucking for a solo, and then we'll say, all right, your turn, and then quickly strum back to be more of a backing, so that way you guys are having this musical back and forth. And it's a rather pleasant experience.
Dueling banjos, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Davil, we'll have you on for a 10-day.
All right. And our rates will most likely stay the same if you decide to hire us on further. And then he'll hop off the stage, and then he'll make his way out.
Fun.
And he'll remind you again, just, are you sure you don't need any help finding anybody to staff this place?
Yes,
Yes, you need
we'll need help.
All right, I'll put the word out.
I'm not good at printing things.
That's all right. I'm good at talking very loudly and very convincingly. And he just makes his way out of the door and continues to strum. And over the next series of days, yes?
Oh, so yeah, after that, Hubris is gonna put his file down and walk over to the chalkboard and go, so Liv, no more mold talk, you use this.
And you just hear this
No.
as white chalk just kind of appears, and it just says in large letters, okay.
Cool.
And then with a breeze that kind of quickly blows through the tavern from an open window, the chalk just gets erased.
Right.
And so over the next period of days, you end up encountering several people. Like, there's still a swath of people that are coming in looking for work, but you do end up finding 4 individuals that all seem to be willing to work for 1 gold every 10 day, and in return they'll cover your evening shifts as well as your midday shifts and make sure that the bar actually functions well. And these all seem to have come at Davil's referral. As to them, getting paid a gold every 10 days is totally worth it for basically free concert tickets to Not Doug every night. And so they get themselves situated at the bar. So I'm going to have... Ooh.
All right, guys, morning meeting. Remember, you have a free lunch and a free dinner. You're covering the night shift.
Yeah, and it is... you see that there is a tiefling who is red-skinned. He has black hair with a very tasteful gray streak that kind of comes around the horn towards the back. You can see that there is a half-elf barmaid who's also a huge Not Doug fan and is just very much looking to play, and her name is Eliota. Then there is a human bartender by the name of Garrett, who is definitely like super down to work here, even though you guys haven't had a whole lot of business yet. And then you eventually meet a half-orc, and the half-orc, it just has this big happy grin on his face, and he seems to just be really jiving with the overall with the overall experience there, and he says his name is Klee.
What's the tiefling's name?
The tiefling gave you the name of we're going to say his name is Hollow.
Okay.
Alrighty. So we have Hollow, Eliota, Garrett, and Klee.
Okay. I give him the standard warning. So, this is Liff. He has seniority over all of you. Liff writes on the chalkboard,
Yep.
I guess.
And you see that there is a quick sketch of like the four of them as stick figures, but then this elven figure, arms crossed, big smile on its face that is drawn above them.
Right, and I'm gonna need your measurements so I can find you proper uniforms.
And so they all just kind of nod, and over the next 8 days or so, you end up being able to outfit them with all of the gear that you need. And that is when the first, you guys actually have your first week with this bar, your first 8 days. So we're going to roll on a table that
Ooh.
I never thought that I would actually get to roll on, which is the downtime activities table in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Ooh.
It has been a long while since I pulled out this guidebook.
At some point, I do want Hubris to visit Fala.
Okay.
In the DMG or the Xanathar's guide? Because they updated everything.
Oh, did they?
Xanathar's.
Yeah, because in the
downtown.
Waterdeep book, I believe it says to use the table that is in the DMG. But if there is one in Xanathar's guide that is better, then
There's
I'll
a
use
ton of stuff in it. I don't know if the running a business might actually be in the DMG.
Yeah, in
but
this one, it says roll it for Dungeon Master's Guide.
Okay.
So we are going to do that. So what did you guys get? So you got a 54, which means that it covers its own maintenance costs for each of the days within your week. So you guys do not gain any money, but you don't lose any money. And your business just is self-sustaining during that time. And it is about and you guys are like are you guys also running a fighting ring underground?
I'll leave that up to Kronk.
I think that would depend how inconsolable is Ghost currently.
I'm not gonna say she's at the Bella Swan level via the Twilight movies when she like literally didn't leave her room, but she is very short with people, and she's just like pissed at herself, and she's not. I mean, you can talk to her, but it just depends on what you say, I guess.
Which Kronk's crushed on the inside, like I was saying, because he just doesn't know what he can do, and so he's feeling useless, and so that's really hard for someone who can lift an ox cart. Yeah, I don't think until things are right with Ghost, I don't think I would run the fighting ring.
It's fair enough.
So.
And I would definitely have noticed the more dour. Yeah.
Is Hubris doing anything to try and talk to Ghost about why she's feeling down? You also have noticed that there are signs that are going up around the North Ward, as well as just generally throughout town, that are asking if you have any information about the arson that was committed in the Castle Ward on the night where Ghost and Kronk went out, and then Kronk came back smelling like smoke. That you should contact the city authorities, but there doesn't seem to have been any headway made on that.
No, that's what going to follow was about.
Okay. Yeah, so you make your way over to Coralon's Crown, and you see that Fala is currently working at this establishment. And she's just tending to a few smaller plants.
They...
Yes, they. Sorry. That's my
Wow.
bad. I should have listened to Victor. Been weeks. Yes, so they turn around. It's nice to see you, Hubris.
Hi, Fala.
Is there anything I can get you? How's the plant been treating you, by the way?
It's very good. Very green. Really brightens the room.
As they should. If you need any more, just let me know.
Well, I was actually wondering, do you have... It's a little exotic, but... cacao beans?
I think I might have a few starts. It's not really the right season for them, but with a little bit of magic goes a long way. And then they'll look around to see if they have any of these plants. Other than that one. So they are currently looking around for quite some time, and then they come back over. Well, I wasn't able to find any of the plants. I do have a few of the leaves that I've ground up that if you just eat a little bit, it'll actually make you feel very energized. But that's really it. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I can put in an order for you if you'd like.
How long would it take?
Well, considering that it's going to be a while in terms of ships, I would probably have to reach out to a friend in Luskin. It might be a couple 10 days.
I'll think about it.
All right. Well, you know where to find me if you end up changing your mind.
I give him a wink. Well, I'll also be back for some more plants to sprucing up the bob. Oh, by the way, please drop by. We are officially open.
And they'll acknowledge and just be like, "Of course. Thank you for letting me know you were back in business. I heard it was getting kind of raucous over there."
Yeah, it was something.
Well, I'll be sure to come by. And you know that throughout the course of your 10-day that all of your neighbors have come by and received their complimentary drink from you. And you can see that Victor had taken his drink and didn't really seem to like the music that was being played all too much. I more made a mention that something about, is this what the children are listening to these days? And he just kind of like waves it past and doesn't really seem to be very enthralled by it. But the rest of your neighbors all seem to enjoy it, except on the last day of your 10-day, the last one before Wolf is able to exit his prison and stretch his limbs of freedom once again. You guys awake to a notice that has been put on your front door. And you can see that it is a noise complaint that has been placed by one Froon in demanding that, in crying out against the loud volume coming from your place at all hours of the evening, and that it's not what this city stands for, and it's not what this alleyway stood for, and it was better before you came.
Is it a public summon, or is it just...
This looks more like a passive-aggressive note that was trying to stylize itself in the way of a public official's note.
Ebers has it in his hands, and he, like, rubs it slightly into a snap and sets it on fire.
Okay. Yeah, and the smoldering, these smoldering the smoldering note just kind of falls into a large puddle at your feet that had been there from the rains of the night prior. And that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So I wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you to everybody who has decided to stop by and enjoy this stream. It was a bit heavier. It was role play heavy, that is for sure. But you guys have finally made it to level 3.
Yeah.
Think about that good shit for next week, and I am very
Even
excited.
more HP to lose.
Yeah, more HP to find. But we have some amazing people on this stream, so I would like to go for our sign off. So RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, hi. I'm RJustice, and I play Hubris on our Tuesday stream. You know that. Wow. I mean, you can find me at RJustice282 on Twitch and Twitter, and on Monday as our lovely flower child, Sunny Boy, Calum, the cleric. Hi.
All right, and Greybeard, where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm old Greybeard of Greybeards Tavern. You can catch me Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. I play Darkest Dungeon, and there's lots of props. So have a good time with that. Of course, I'm here, and we've got the events coming up. I just wanted to pitch that so you can get that in there for everybody else.
Yes. And LB, where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm LB. I play a very happy character on Mondays who likes to tell stories about the stars. And on Tuesdays, I play a very sad character who's never can be happy. But I am going to be part of the stream on Saturday. I'll be in definitely the first and last games, and then some sprinkled in between. I'll be running the game at 10 o'clock Eastern time, so 8 o'clock Pacific. 4 hours before midnight.
That's 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's a 3-hour time difference.
2 hours daylight savings time. What? No? Okay. Just kidding.
We share daylight savings. The government stole it from us both.
But anyways, I'll be running a kind of homebrewed game that is 80s style, kids on bikes style adventure. So it'll be a lot of fun. Come watch that.
Yeah.
Make me happy.
And Barry, where can we find you? What do you do?
Come at Damn Barry on Twitter and Twitch. I am also in this weekend's game, Sunday for me, Saturday for you, where I get to reprise the role of Reginald von Dogwobbler, the person who probably shouldn't have, well, luckily didn't come and try and discuss Not Dog's contract because you thought Wolf was bad. And in the Ravnica one shot, don't know what as yet though, because you haven't given us
It's true.
information.
Yes, because the book comes out on Friday, so I will be doing a lot of quick reading that day, which will be super fun. And then, speaking of these Extra Life games, on this Saturday, the 10th of November, 2018, you can come by at any time during that day, and we are going to be playing a ridiculous amount of tabletop RPGs. We're starting off with Dungeons and Dragons, then we're going into a homebrew game that our dear friend PB Plays Inside has created called Band Battles, which that game's amazing and fun, and I can't wait for us to show it to people because she's never played it live before, but myself, Barry, and Greybeard have definitely played in that game. Then after Band Battles, then we're going to have a Ravnica game that's looking like it's going to shape up to be around like 6 hours or so, and then we're moving into a Weird West game that is going to be DM'd by our friend Wings. And then after that 6-hour game, that is when we move into our final stretch with LB. So, other than that, you guys can find me at The Indoor Adventurer, and you can find all of our VODs at youtube.com/The Indoor Adventurer. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, I've got the links in the doobly-doo. But we will see you guys next week. Or Saturday. I'm used to saying next week, but Saturday. All right, everybody. We will see you then. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.